So I'm going to move on from the housekeeping and into introductions. Lauren, she's new to New Zealand. She's arrived just 4 months ago, and she's in the background with a background of doing digital strategy, particularly in the public sector and also through into the commercial sector. She helps to define problems so that you can better find solutions from her. Those are her words. And then we also have Ben Briggs, who's currently living in Wellington, but has lived here in Christchurch for 9 years, but is from New Zealand originally. He has a service designer background, and he's working in the public sector. He also runs a different design network. He's a part of different design networks. They have co-founded the Mutual Aid New Zealand, and they'll tell you a little bit more about that. Over to them.
Cool. Kia ora koutou, ko Ben Briggs aho. He taonga rongonui te aroha ki te tangata. That whakatauki is goodwill towards others is a precious treasure. Thank you all very much for joining us in the session, and a big also tana koe as well to Razi and Kamia for their help and support with this. We want to dive straight into this. The way that we're going to look at running the session is we're going to have you dropping into a couple of breakout rooms. We're going to have you answering a couple of questions. We'll give you a little bit of context up front on that. So first you'll pair off and then you'll go into groups of 4 with that. Yeah, so that you're not going to have just us talking at you for the 20 minutes. We'll give you all a chance to interact and capture ideas. So the links to everything that you should need to follow, we'll make sure go up into the chat, but I would strongly recommend using the collaboration document, as Camille mentioned at the beginning on that. So I'll get Lauren just to, if Lauren can just sort of share her screen, if we can bring up our first sort of slide, and the question there around social capital.
Can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
We're all good with that? Cool. All right. So as you can see here, so we've talked about, with coming into this, how we want to look at creating long-term social capital from this current sense of community that particularly seems to have that's come out of this time of COVID. And again, I think, us good tangata of Aotearoa have shown how good we are at coming together in times of crisis. So if we think about our guiding star being an equitable society in which networks of relationships help people thrive. So there's also the definition of sort of social capital is around those networks of relationships. You'll see here as well that what we've provided is an example of social capital and thinking about the different types of elements that make up social capital. So first thing that we'd like you to do is we're just going to give you just a couple of minutes just to think about thinking about that question there. So that is basically, what positive things have you seen that have built social capital in your communities during COVID-19? I'm going to try and play some music. We're having to do this low tech, so if it sounds really bad, I'll immediately turn it off. We'll give you a heads up on the 2 minutes. Feel free to be throwing those ideas up into the chat. So that's answering that question there. And then what we're going to have you do is we'll come back and we'll pair you off and give you a chance to have a discussion and start putting some of the ideas down. So again, chuck your ideas either into the chat or into the collaboration notes that are on the Google Doc. Great. We won't be having music, and I won't sing for you because I think, yeah, that's going to be
Some really lovely examples coming out in the chat.
Cool. Back. Sorry, I was having technical problems there. My computer nearly crashed on me.
Oops.
Cool. Are we back?
We're doing good,
Sorry.
Ben.
Can you hear me okay? Yep,
Yeah, we can
brilliant.
hear you.
All right. Awesome. Lauren, I'll hand over to you.
Cool. Thank you for those. There's some really lovely things in there about New Zealand being kind of one big team, people checking in on each other, kind of spending time kind of helping each other out, whether that's that, you know, dropping off groceries or setting up the internet or just helping someone get on Zoom. Just really kind of small acts of kindness, I think are, yeah, absolutely kind of perfect for what we're going for. So now we've kind of had a few moments to reflect on the kind of the positive things that we've seen in our communities and the things that start to build those connections and reinforce those networks. What we want you to do is we're going to break you off into rooms of 2, and we're going to ask you to have a think about this question, which is how might we help the positive things that have built social capital become the new normal? So all of those great things that we just talked about and all of the other ideas that you kind of have swimming around your head, how do we take those and how do we build on them so that we don't lose them when we learn from kind of the previous mistakes and the previous 40 years, if you kind of were in the first talk in the Aroha room. And how do we think about, okay, well, what's disrupting the status quo and shaping those new behaviors? What positive changes are already happening out there? So we're going to split you off into rooms of 2, into pairs, into your breakout room. If you could just spend a few minutes kind of having those conversations and then jot down any notes that you've got in the collaborative document.
Cool. How many minutes do you want them to have?
Ben, you've got the doc in front of you.
Is it?
Yeah. Sorry, can I just jump in? Actually, we're gonna just for the first one, we've got the is to pair off and just discuss the ideas that they've been looking at on the first question. Sorry, and then
I jumped ahead.
Sorry, and then we've got the groups. That's right. We're jumping ahead of ourselves there, team. So what you've just said about is what we'll be doing in the groups of 4. When we get you to pair off now, we'll just get you to jump in. And yeah, if you want to share those ideas that you've been having, just continue to get them into the 2 documents. We'll give you 4 minutes to do that now. Yep, so we can move straight into we'll move straight into the next one.
Yes, you can.
Sorry, a few of the technical difficulties just slowing us down here, including my computer nearly crashing. All right, so yeah, so Lauren, thank you so much. Brilliant. All right, so the second question that would be keen for you to answer now. So what we'll do is we're going to put you into groups of 4. So again, have a discussion around the question. Would recommend maybe one person is scribing and just throw out as many ideas as you can on this, because we want to look at, we're sort of keen to capturing as many ideas as we can. So now that you're thinking about those positive things that you've identified that you're seeing happening now that have been building on the social capital, so now how might we then help those positive things become the new normal? So when we go back to whatever our new normal, whatever our normal is going to be, and level 2, level 1, once we're back. There's a couple of prompting questions there to be thinking about that. So like, for example, at the moment, where is some of that positive change already happening? What are you seeing that might be disrupting the status quo or shaping new behaviors? We'll give you 6 minutes to go through, have those discussions. So again, in the link, there's this Google Jamboard here, which you can use. Otherwise, drop all the notes and ideas into the chat or into the collaboration doc as well. Any questions or issues, just ping us in the chat.
Cool, so I'm going to put you in 4s now.
Right, thank you everybody for that. It was really interesting for me to be part of those groups, and I think we've captured some great thoughts and ideas on the document. What we'll be doing is we'll be kind of reviewing and collating them, and the idea is to kind of put them into like a Google form or a poll that we can share around with anybody that leaves their email address on the collaboration document. So please do that if you're interested. And what we'd like to do is get you to vote on which ideas or kind of concepts are going to have got the most impact potential or should be prioritized the most, and we're going to have a reflection and think about what that needs to look like, and hopefully follow up with you guys.
Cool. anything else you wanted to add in on that, Lauren?
All good from me.
Thank you both so much for your
Yeah.
mahi and for your energy in this one. And yeah, I encourage everybody who wants to stay involved in that conversation to put your contact details in the shared document.
Yeah, and we'll leave those open for a while so we can look at building on the ideas, and we'll see how we can then take it from there. Yeah, and I think actually if those are on the camera, it's like the one thing I'm just really keen to do to round out, so if anyone do it, is like on 1, 2, 3, can we have jazz hands? Would be cool. So like 1, 2, 3, jazz hands. Hey, great.